Alright, guys, it's been a while. Welcome to the Retro or Die podcast. Now, just to clear things up, I did have the Retro or Die podcast before. Last year, it was going strong for, I think, about 11 or 12 episodes. And then everyone just got busy. We couldn't do it anymore. And it just kind of fell apart from there. So I'm resurrecting the series now into the Retro or Die podcast. I'm going to try to do it more with video like this for YouTube, since running a website's expensive, and I just don't have money to throw at a website on my own anymore. So it just is what it is. I need money for games. So that's just the way things are going to be now. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to call this episode 1 the resurrection of the Retro or Die podcast. And what inspired me to do this podcast today are the various topics that came out. Well, the big one that came out today that caught my attention the most, which was the Capcom fighting arcade stick unit. We're going to be covering that today. We're going to be covering the flea markets and how the tides have definitely changed when it comes to going to the flea market and not getting deals. It is hilarious how things have been going now that I've been going to the flea market after I have not gone for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now. After that, we are also going to talk about the Star Wars movie trailer that dropped, and my hopes and fears for that, even though I said I was probably never going to go to another Star Wars movie and that I was done watching Star Wars altogether. My thoughts on seeing the Hellboy movie flop after I said I was going to on Twitter, and Twitter fucking exploded with fanboys and losing their shit because I basically said the movie looks not good. And this will tie into the Spawn movie that's supposedly coming out. Well, supposed to come out. I hope it still does come out. And my hopes and fears on that. And last but not least, we will talk about the PS5 that was confirmed today. Today is April 16th, 2019. And this is episode 1, like I said, the resurrection of the Retro or Die podcast. I'm your host, Forrest, and let's just jump into it. So, I haven't been to the flea market in about 2 years. I used to go a lot 2 years ago. Not every weekend, but I would say at least 2 to 3 times a month for a long period of time. And I was cranking out videos on the Retro or Die YouTube channel, which this is also on. And you can go back and find those videos in the playlists of different rants I did. I also did a complete almost flea market madnessing looking video where I walked through the flea market and commentate over what I found or didn't find that day. And I show you the ridiculousness of what a flea market looked like 2 years ago, where nobody's willing to work with you. You have resellers that are taking simple title games such as Mario Duck Hunt and charging like $45 fucking for it. A top loader for an NES going for $150. Loose, no box, no nothing. Just the top loader by itself. And how basically everyone was out for all they could grab as far as resellers go. Not being honest about games, just like Wild West in it, fucking trying to take every sucker that comes along getting back into the hobby for all they're worth. Now for me, because of this, I've just been more going to thrift stores on and off for more or less the last 2 years. Been having a lot of luck. I'm currently sitting at 150 NES games. And that was me starting to recollect in 2013 or 2014, if I can remember correctly. I had a shit ton of games still from my childhood. Unfortunately, most of our NES games got sold in a garage sale. That kind of sucked, but we still had our one game, which was The Legend of Zelda, the first gold cart. and I've been recollecting ever since then. So that's where I'm currently sitting at. NES games is 150 titles, and whatever. I'm happy with that. I'm moving at my own pace. So let's get back to the flea market. 2 years ago, the last time I go to the flea market, just about, no one's willing to work with me. Deals are nowhere, and I'm basically walking away with more toys than I'm walking away with games. And don't get me wrong, I do love toys. That's also majority what's inside of my office. Look, by the way, if you're watching the video form of this, look at this sweet Moby Dick version of Nemesis. If it'll focus, it probably won't. Woo! Anyway, it sits on my desk with my Bioshock Big Daddy and my Tales from the Crypt lamp of the Crypt Keeper. Anyway, go back into the flea market. I was not expecting to find deals, and it was kind of on a whim. I was just like, you know what, I haven't been to the flea market in 2 years. I'm getting kind of that itch to go back and see if there's anything there. And lo and behold, the tides have changed, because I feel like the bubble for NES games and Super Nintendo games and all that shit has basically burst when it comes to the retail space of a flea market, which there never should have been a bubble to begin with at the flea market. I'm at the flea market at fucking 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know when exactly the flea market became the hot spot for having a basically retail store in a smaller space that you pay less money for. If that was the case, I would just go to the local retail store to buy games, or go on eBay and just buy my games. So 2 years ago, no one would work with me, like I said 100 times I feel like already. And lo and behold, I'm going up to the same dealers that haven't seen me in 2 years, that did see the flea market video that I made of me walking through the flea market and showing how the bad resellers were trying to rip people off. Some lady was trying to sell a guy Super Nintendo, I think, in the video, and she had like $100 on it, and it was yellow. She's giving him misinformation, and I stepped in and I said, actually, it's not correct. You can get this somewhere else. Anyway, I had pissed off people at that flea market see that video, leave comments on that video telling me that I'm hurting their business and that I'm going to be taken down. Which, of course, never fucking happened. I told those people to fuck off, and if they don't like it, maybe they should do a little more research and try to look out for the best interest of the customer, because when you do good business with the consumer will come back to you. It shouldn't be rocket scientist for some people, but it is. So I go back. No one, of course, recognizes who the fuck I am. It was 2 years ago. And I go in, didn't bring a camera with me this time. And these resellers, you know what? I'm grabbing games and I'm bundling up. I'm grabbing 3 to 4 games at a time, and I'm just throwing out numbers. And people are actually listening to me, working with me. And even when it seems like they're not willing to finally start working with me, I'm like, listen, this is how much I'll give you for this, and that's my final offer. And people are actually finally listening and willing to bargain with me at the flea market. 2 years ago, no fucking chance. You hit someone with even $2 less than they're asking for something, and they would basically tell you to fuck off. It's not like that anymore. And like I said, I feel like the bubble has burst. The collecting scene is dying out for those who jumped in way too fucking fast. I did make a video series, I think of like 3 videos of the retro game collecting survival guide, or whatever I titled them. And in those videos, I basically say in the first one, don't be getting into this hobby just to like be like, oh, look it, I got all the NES games in 1 year, and I spent like $30,000, and now I'm in debt. I feel like that happened, and when that happens, you see people selling off their collections at extremely fast rates. I go on Craigslist now, and I'm finding people selling NES games left and right for dirt cheap prices. And that works out for me because, that's what I'm into. And I'm not into this hobby for some sort of, like, look at me thing. I'm in this because I really enjoy it. And, listen, I've been recollecting games of old Nintendo games I grew up with, which basically at this time I already have everything I grew up with. This is all just shit I'm finding over time. And it's been since 2013 or 2014, and I'm only at 150 NES games. I'm at a little over 120 something Super Nintendo games right now. I mean, that is taking your time. It's 2020, isn't it? No, it's 2019 now. Sorry, it's been a long day. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's garbage day. Yeah, that's right. So it's just funny how the tides have changed. Flea marketing has changed. It's back to the way it's supposed to be. Back to the way that I like it. Unfortunately, I found no VHS movies at all. But the one thing I did find extremely weird is I was finding games, but I was finding no toys. The toy dealers that I remember being there 2 years ago, some of them are gone. And for a majority of the most part, the flea market vendors had toys that were all modern. It was all modern crap that was like the newest Power Rangers, the newest Pokemon stuff, the newest shit that I don't even know what it is from kids' cartoons nowadays. And and they're all retail price. And for me, I'm just like, okay, maybe they got a lot at Toys R Us when it went out of business and they're trying to get it off their hands or something. I don't know. But that was really, really weird to see, because normally I'll find at least 15 different booths that have toys from when I was a kid. I really wish I would have taken advantage of that and bought those toys of Mighty Max that I saw 2 years ago, but I didn't for some reason. Anyway, flea marketing. I'm probably going to get back into going more often, and it's just funny to see how times have changed. Maybe now it's harder for people to make sales because the bubble is popped. There's no more time. There's no more ability to rip people off and just say, fuck you, I'm not going to give you a deal. It's not that time anymore. So that works out for me and everyone that's in this hobby for the right reasons. Anyway, the whole reason I'm bringing back this podcast, and it literally inspired me to bring back the podcast in this way today, is because of the Capcom arcade emulation machine that's coming out. When I got to work this morning, I read about this on Twitter, and I was like, holy crap, this sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's not the best looking design. It's just the literal Capcom logo of saying Capcom, long enough to have two stick ports onto it and the buttons for an arcade machine. So you can have two people play or fight each other. But what stuck out in my mind was it was going to have Alien vs. Predator on it. Now, the Alien vs. Predator arcade machine is one that I grew up loving. When I was a kid, Chuck E. Cheese's and the grocery stores and the actual arcades back in that time would have some of the most iconic arcades for everyone that grew up in that time period. Ninja Turtles, X-Men, The Simpsons, and Alien vs. Predator, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat, all that stuff. And Alien vs. Predator was one that I specifically loved the most. That, Primal Rage, and TMNT. X-Men is up there too, but if I had my picks, it would have been TMNT, Alien vs. Predator, and whatever else I said. I'm sorry, I'm brain farting. It's been a long day at work. But Alien vs. Predator was a machine that I particularly loved, and I would always want to play. And whenever I went to birthday parties or baseball, after baseball games, and we all got to go get pizza and stuff, Alien vs. Predator was like the only one. I'd be the only kid that would want to play that one. Everyone gravitates towards X-Men and Ninja Turtles. I grew up very differently, I feel like, than a lot of kids at that time. I knew a lot about Aliens and Predator at that point. I'd seen all the movies. And we're talking about the early 90s, maybe 94. And I was collecting comic books at that time also of the Dark Horse series Alien versus Predator. So for me, it was like, oh, man, I felt like I knew a lot. And playing the arcade machine was super cool because it follows the comic book storyline. And it was a lot of fun to play. It's got to be one of the best beat 'em up arcade machines out there aside from TMNT and X-Men, just in my opinion. And it never saw a home release for a console. So, and there was an Alien versus Predator game on Super Nintendo and I think Sega Genesis, but that game is not very good. It shares the same cover art as one of the Alien versus Predator comic books, but it almost has nothing to do with the comic book at all. Same thing with the Game Boy version that I did a review for on this channel. Alien vs. Predator, The Last of His Clan is the Game Boy one. But it was just an arcade machine that kids did not gravitate towards because either one, they didn't see the movie, or two, it was because Ninja Turtles and X-Men was available to play. So it was one that I played mostly alone. You get to a certain point, you're just getting your ass kicked because the game is not easy. But it is fun as hell. You get to choose between Marines and Predators. I'm sure most of you know this already. So when I saw this today, of course, my eyes lit up. I was super excited to see that. And as soon as I saw it, I watched the trailer, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking cool. It's going to have, 16? It's going to have 16 games on it. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna pre-order this right now. I get on my computer, I go on the website, I'm ready to hit pre-order, and then I see it. The $229.99 price tag in euros. Which, if you don't know, that means in America it's going to be even more expensive. Which I did a conversion. I posted it on Twitter this morning. The conversion is $260 and some change in American dollars. For an emulation machine that I literally, it was one of those moments that you almost see in those viral videos where the parents say that they ate their kids' Halloween candy or something like that. It's just jaw-dropping. Or, you see those people getting the fake lottery tickets where they think that they won a bunch of money and everyone's like, psych, and the person just looks dumbfounded and sad. That's how I can imagine my face looked, because that's how I felt on the inside. When I saw the price tag, I thought it was a fucking joke. But it's not. That's the real price. And the 16 games that are coming on it, of course, they're good. They're good ones. Capcom made good arcade units. The games are 1944, The Loop Master, Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Capcom Sports Club, Captain Commando, which is a great beat 'em up, I gotta say also. And it's on Super Nintendo. It's also a lot of fun. Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness, Darkstalkers, The Night Warriors, Eco Fighters, Final Fight, another good beat 'em up, Ghouls and Ghosts, a very hard game but awesome. Giga Wing, I don't know what that is. Mega Man: The Power Battle, and Pro Gear, Street Fighter 2, Hyper Fighting, Strider, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I remember seeing that all the time in Straw Hat Pizza when I was a kid. All the time. It goes on sale October 25th. So I was super excited. I go to pre-order. I see the fucking price tag, and my jaw drops. I think it's a joke. I thought literally I was being trolled by Capcom, and in reality, I probably would have wished it'd been more of an April Fool's joke that the thing was even coming out than seeing how much they're trying to get for it. And it just, like this wave of, it wasn't like pissed off anger, you know, like someone doing you wrong. It was like just disappointment. It was disappointment in knowing that I'm not going to be able to get this. And it's not because I can't afford it. It's because I don't agree with the price at all. I thought the most I would see for this thing is like $75 to $100 at the most. I think $75, fuck it. I would have paid it. I would have pre-ordered it today for that much money. $260, that's basically buying a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One for a emulation machine of arcade games. That, I would like to remind people that probably already know this, these games, ROMs, have been free online for years. You could get them anywhere online for free. I'm not saying go and download stuff illegally or whatever. Don't take me saying that as go do that. But I'm not going to pay $260 for an emulation machine. It doesn't look that impressive, like I said. And in reality, how expensive could this thing have been to fucking make? So I'm disappointed that I'm not going to get it. And at the same time, it was like a sinking feeling I felt inside, knowing that these things are going to be scalped like fucking crazy when they come out. They're going to come out and people are going to buy like 20 of them, and you're going to see them on eBay. They're probably on eBay right now. Pre-orders on eBay right now flipped already for like probably $500. And that's what I can see happening with this item when it actually goes on sale in the physical stores. People are gonna buy them up and try to flip them. So I mean, it fucking sucks. So in reality, unless this thing drops dramatically in price, or reviews come out and it's just like it wasn't really worth it, and Capcom's kind of like, oh, whoopsie, we should have priced this lower, then I'm not going to get it. So I was kind of upset about that. And it's not that I can't afford a $260 fucking item. The fact is, it's an emulation machine with ROMs that I could get anywhere for free online. It sucks because Alien vs. Predator never had a home release for an official console. And it's one of my most beloved arcade games, besides Primal Rage and TMNT. So, it fucking sucks. And it sucks for a lot of people. If you go on Twitter, you go on anywhere online, people are like saying, my wallet's getting raped here. This sucks ass. It does. So in reality, a lot of people that want this aren't going to get it. And it is what it is. And it's just, the thing that also sucks is right when I was giving Capcom a lot of credit for the Resident Evil 2 reboot, and it's seeming like they were doing stuff in favor of the consumer, they do something like this where it feels like they're trying to milk the consumer now. And I don't appreciate things like that. And I don't support things like that. So that's why in the reality, in the end, I will not be buying this product, even though I want it a lot. The Star Wars trailer dropped, and if you are familiar with this channel, if you've watched this channel before, and you know how I felt about The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, in my opinion, was a very shitty, fucking just bullshit movie, and it pandered to the lowest common denominator of moviegoers, in my opinion. And if you've never seen the review that I did, it's on this channel. It's one of the most successful videos I ever did, just because I had the perfect storm of people that love Star Wars, hate Star Wars, loved the movie and hated the movie, and they all came together and started bitching at each other in the comments section. It was actually hilarious. It was some of the most funniest comments I've ever seen in a YouTube video that I've ever fucking made. So, the Star Wars trailer drops, and I went from being like, fuck Star Wars, I'm not watching any more Star Wars movies, to very interested in seeing this movie. And I never thought I would say that again about a Star Wars film. And the whole reason for that is because at the end of the movie, or at the end of the trailer, you see the Death Star and you hear Emperor Palpatine, the Emperor, laugh at the end. And that made me sit up, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And as I started thinking about it, because I was super excited at first when I saw it. I was texting my friends, was like, holy shit, look at this. And I started thinking about it. I let it simmer, thought about it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, I should not be just fanboying about that I love Star Wars. And I should think about this for a second. What if, and I'm just saying this, being speculative of the movie, what if Emperor Palpatine is not even in this fucking movie as an actual character? What if this is a bait and switch? What if this is a memory or a flashback to something in Star Wars, even if it was a scene that they recreated that never happened in the original trilogy for Star Wars? Like this new movie. It's just something recreated bullshit. He's not really alive and has no real impact on the current story in these movies. And I think this one's called The Rise of Skywalker. So that's just me. I went from being super excited because the fanboy in me who loves Star Wars heard the Emperor laughing, saw the Death Star, and immediately was like, holy shit. But then the critic of me, the grown-up of me, pops in and taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, wait a minute, you remember that last Star Wars movie? And I'm like, oh yeah. And then you start to begin to think. So, in reality, I'm not going to be like, holy shit, fuck Star Wars, I'm not going to see it. I'm going to see this movie. And I'll do a review on it. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's a complete 180 from the last Star Wars movie review that I did. Because Last Jedi, I'm not changing my mind, fucking sucked. Now, going on to Hellboy. Growing up, my dad collected comic books. And that's probably where a majority of this whole collecting thing comes from. Internally, it's been instilled in my brain from a child of collecting comic books. And toys and games and everything else like that. But Hellboy was one of those things that he collected hardcore. That and Spawn, which we'll talk about next. So, the Hellboy movies with Ron Perlman, they're not great. They're not terrible either. The first Hellboy movie with Ron Perlman, I actually give kudos to because I feel like at least they tried. And we were at that weird shift with superhero movies where they were starting to get a little more taken serious, but then crappy ass movies would come out, like different Hulk movies with different people playing the Hulk, and they would always kind of fucking suck. But we were seeing this shift where superhero movies and comic book movies started getting taken more serious. Which is good. Even though I can honestly say I've never seen any Avengers movie. I've never seen any Captain American movie. And the last superhero movie I saw was Thor. And after that movie, I swore off watching superhero movies for a long fucking time. And I still haven't seen one. But Hellboy is one of also my personal favorites. But, and this is a big but, when I saw the commercial for this new Hellboy film, I immediately kind of just rolled my eyes and said, fucking skip. Because in the commercial, I could already tell that they were trying to force feed Hellboy a dark character, a cult character, and make him a comedic Marvel action hero character. There was humor and jokes in the commercial that are not Hellboy-like at all. And as soon as I saw it, it immediately made me know in my guts know that this movie was gonna fucking blow. And after I watched the trailer, I posted on Twitter that the movie's gonna suck. It looks like it's gonna suck and I'm not gonna see it. And immediately, fanboys of Hellboy, fanboys of Marvel movies, and just blind idiot people start flaming me on Twitter saying that I'm just a movie snob, I'm just some soy boy, I'm some sort of butthurt fan, I'm this, I'm that, I don't know fucking shit about comic books, I'm just some fucking idiot on Twitter, I'm trolling. Literally got lit up on Twitter about it. And I still just said, my opinion, oh well, you don't like it, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not going to waste my money and do movie reviews or do any kind of shit like that on my channel for click attention. I'm not going to do false anger by spending my hard-earned money on a movie that I know is going to be bad. And lo and behold, Hellboy comes out and it's fucking trash. It's not only trash for people that like Hellboy, it's trash in general as a fucking film altogether. It doesn't hold up as an action hero movie film. And before you start even getting on your keyboard to type to me, well, the gore and the killing was just shut up. Having gore and killing in a movie is great if the movie's good. Just because that is your star of the film for a Hellboy movie does not make your movie good. And if you think that way, well then I'm sorry, you're lost as far as what makes a good film. So the Hellboy movie gets eviscerated. I knew it was going to by the trailer. And that's from me knowing my shit about Hellboy. So for all those who doubted me on Twitter and called me all the names, oh well. Fuck off. Now your movie series is going to be fucking tarnished and you're not going to see Hellboy turned into another film for another fucking 15 years or whatever. Oh well. But what does make me a little scared is the Spawn movie that's supposed to be coming out by Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane has been highly talking about this new movie, really pimping it out there and trying to get people to pay more attention to it. Saying that it's going to be a hard R. It's going to be very disturbing. It's going to be very graphic. I just hope that Todd McFarlane does not let the movie studio, fuck up his movie. And that's what he blames happening with his last film of Spawn. And the creators of this Hellboy movie did officially blame studio interference for the movie being not very good. This Hellboy movie, had an embargo on it, I think, up until the day it came out. So you as the consumer, wouldn't have even fucking been able to know if the movie was good or not if you wanted to see it on day one. That fucking sucks. That just goes to show that someone's trying to cover up a dirty little secret and pull an Alien fucking 3 on people. So those are my fears about the Spawn movie. I hope it's good. In all reality, think Spawn should have not been made into another movie. If it were up to me and I had Todd McFarlane in a meeting with me, I'd be like, listen, Todd, Mr. McFarlane, huge fan of your work. Look at what HBO is doing with Game of Thrones. Look at what we could do here is if you took your original HBO series of the Spawn animated series, which are back there on VHS, all 3 of them, and the collector's edition director's cuts. So if we took those and we turned those into live action, that I feel like would bring a lot more attention to Spawn. That would give the people that not only love Spawn what they want, but that would just bring a whole new attention on dark anti-heroes in general to be given a platform on HBO to actually be what they were intended to be from their comic books. And this movie business, where you have studio heads who are infamous in Hollywood for fucking up movie franchises all the time, because they just want to cater to, like I said, like in the last Star Wars movie, the lowest common denominator of people that don't want to use their brains, just want to sit there like drooling idiots and watch a fucking people move around on a film and explosions and apparently gore and guts for the people that said Hellboy was good because of this. Stupid. So those are my feelings. Spawn has had many, many comic book lines and many stories that even if they finish the HBO series, they could continue on. I feel this way with not only Spawn. I feel this way about Alien and Predator and anything that Image did with the Max. I mean, Dark Horse with all their different comic book characters. In reality, go with a TV show where you can embellish and do everything you want to do. Don't go on TV shows like Walking Dead, where once again studios will interfere and fuck up your whole plot lines and kill off characters that make no sense killing off. This is why I don't watch Walking Dead anymore, because after I saw that they were killing off main characters that should be alive in the series, I said fuck this, and I stopped watching it. Alright guys, last but not least, the PS5. PS5, I read today, Sony confirmed that the PS5 will be coming out. It's got all these fancy things to make the hard drive better and faster, and all this shit I don't give a fuck about, because I barely use my PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 was built with one of the very worst, in my opinion, Wi-Fi capabilities I've ever fucking seen in any machine I've ever fucking used. I've used cameras that have built-in Wi-Fi that are fucking way better than the PlayStation 4 itself. So the PlayStation 5's coming out, and the biggest thing on my mind is it going to be backwards compatible? It's the biggest thing on a lot of people's minds, because PlayStation seems to just keep moving faster and faster and faster and trying to pump you out a new console and shove it down your throat as fast as humanly possible, while at the same time being as unconsumer friendly as possible. Our days of PS3 and the glory days of that have been long gone. And this isn't an anti-PlayStation rant, because I mean I have all the consoles, obviously. It's just that I am anti companies trying to be anti-consumer. So the PlayStation 5 comes out, and it's not going to be backwards compatible for anything except for the PlayStation 4. I would insert the Price is Right song, or boom boom ba dum boom, but in reality it did not shock me. I was kind of surprised they're going to have backwards compatibility at all for PlayStation 4, because in reality I feel like Sony tries to nickel and dime its consumers to death and trying to rebuy games that they already fucking own. The PlayStation Now service, where you stream video games, everyone that's ever used it can confirm it fucking blows. Do not use it. If you do use it, the only thing it's going to be good for are its 16-bit games or fucking games for the PlayStation 2. Don't fucking try to do it for anything big like God of War 3, because the game will be fucked up. I guarantee you that. So, for the new generation of consoles, PlayStation 5 to me has nothing to offer. They showed a side-by-side comparison of what the graphics are going to look like, but in reality, to me, it doesn't look any better. I mean, how far are you going to push graphics in a 5-year jump with consoles? Let's be serious here. 8K resolution, please, for me that doesn't matter. I want to know that the shit I've been buying for the last 10 years is gonna be playable on my new console. That's the biggest concern for me. It doesn't have it, I'm not buying it. And because the hardware for the PlayStation 4 was so fucking terrible, I wouldn't buy it anyway in general, on principle. So unless Sony pulls out of their ass at the last minute after seeing blowback that it's not going to be backwards compatible and they end up doing it, then maybe I'll give it a thought. But it has to be backwards compatible, at least all the way to the PlayStation 2. Otherwise, I'll just keep using my PlayStation 3. Why not? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. The Resurrection episode of the Retro or Die podcast, episode 1. I'm planning on hopefully doing these twice a month. Maybe I'll bring back guests. Maybe I'll do other stuff like that. It all depends on how well this video does. All the old podcasts probably won't be uploaded to the channel, just because the last time I did that with a podcast, it barely got views and people didn't give a shit. And it took forever to render, because it was like 5 or 6 hours long or whatever. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you are not subscribed already, hopefully YouTube's not hiding my videos because I haven't uploaded in 2 months. But yeah, be sure to let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at Retro or Die and on Instagram at Retro or Die. Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. It was garbage day for me. We all know what Rocco said in Rocco's Modern Life. Garbage day is a very dangerous day. All right, guys. Take it easy.